Honourable members, the Honourable Member for Samarai-Mururwa will say prayers.
Our Heavenly Father, who is up in heaven, this afternoon we're so honored to give you all praise, honor, and glory because you Papa God Blomipla. You God Lord this country. No, you God Lord this parliament. Heavenly Father, you God where you create him heavens, the universe, the earth, now all something we stop long. No, you God where you create him Mipla. It is our honorable duty that Mipla must come back to you. Now seek him you. Now ask him your forgiveness for you. Because we are unworthy this morning or this afternoon to seek your face. We pray on up. That is why this afternoon, mighty God, we are asking you for forgiveness for you. Before we can make him any petition to your holy throne. Please forgive me from all the failures, shortfallness, Mipla, now cleanse the Mipla one time blood for Jesus. And this afternoon, mighty God, you heard in prayer, Mipla. Mighty God, Mipla asking you that you stop on time, Mipla. This afternoon is an honored day where you give him Mipla, but it is also different because the business of today is far greater, beyond our human capacity to understand and to deliberate. Because Mipla by sit down and talk on budget of this country. Blessing where you give him Mipla. That time Mipla scale him. Scale him where enough. Mipla can give him 1-1 beginning of this country. And bring him development. He come along. House door. 1-1 family. Now 1-1 district, now province, now ward. So mighty God, I'm asking that you bless him. Prime Minister and Ministers Plongen. Our Minister, we go past for budget, the Treasurer, you bless him. Now bless him to all opposition. All two by giving Tintim Longo. Now make him this budget and be balanced and be fair for this country. So mighty God, you go past from Mipla. Because Tintin Nasave from Mipla is so limited. But heavy blow country is so huge. So you have been Mipla. Los Kalim this business today. Mighty God, you give Lani Mipla prayer. With Jesus, you Lani more disciples plug-in. Help us also, mighty God, to recite this prayer. And may this prayer, mighty God, and be influencing Mipla as leaders from behind in footsteps, Lord Jesus, in providing leadership inside of this house and inside of 1-1 district and 1-1 province. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever.
Honourable members, I acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery of the Honourable Yavro Robson Nalan MP, Santo Constituency, Honourable Terry Alec MP, Malekula Constituency, Honourable Nometa James MP, Tana Constituency, Honourable Oliver Maika MP, Malekula Constituency, and Mr. Achille Naimolonu, Senior Assistant Interparliamentary Relations Officer, Vanuatu Parliament Secretariat. from the Ni Vanuatu Congressional Office of the International Leadership. On behalf of the National Parliament, I extend to the distinguished visitors a very warm welcome. Thank you, True. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is leave granted?
Aye.
Leave granted. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I move that so much of our standing orders be suspended as would prevent the Minister for Treasury presenting the 2026 budget and associated budget papers, and B, the Appropriation General Public Service Expenditure 2026, Bill 2025, Appropriation National Parliament 2026 Bill of 2025, and Appropriation the Judiciary Services 2026 Bill 2025 being presented together and debated as one, and C, separate questions being put on their second and third readings.
The question is, the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Appropriation General Public Service Expenditure 2026 Bill 2025. 2. Appropriation National Parliament 2026 Bill 2025. 3. Appropriation Judiciary Services 2026 Bill 2025. Minister for Treasury.
Honorable members, I wish to announce that I have received the following messages from His Excellency the Governor General dated 25th November 2025. A message recommending the expenditure of public monies of Papua New Guinea in accordance with Section 210 of the Constitution insofar as the Appropriation General Public Services Expenditure 2026 Bill 2025 relates to and provides for such expenditure, and B, a message recommending the expenditure of public monies of Papua New Guinea in accordance with Section 210 of the Constitution insofar as the Appropriation National Parliament 2026 Bill 2025 relates to and provides for such expenditure, and C, a message recommending the expenditure of public monies of Papua New Guinea in accordance with Section 210 of the Constitution insofar as the Appropriation Judiciary Services 2026 Bill 2025 relates to and provides for such expenditure. Mr. Treasurer.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Appropriation General Public Services Expenditure 2026 Bill 2025, Appropriation National Parliament 2026 Bill 2025, and Appropriation Judiciary Services 2026 Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First readings. Appropriation General Public Services Expenditure 2026 Bill 2025. A bill for an act to appropriate out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund a sum for the general public service for operational and capital investment expenditure and debt amortization for the year ending 31 December 2026. 2. Appropriation National Parliament 2026 Budget 2025. A bill for an act to appropriate out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund a sum for the National Parliament for operation and capital expenditure for the year ending 31 December 2026. 3. Appropriation Judiciary Services 2026 Bill 2025. A bill for an act to appropriate out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund sums for the judiciary services operational and capital expenditure for the year ending 31 December 2026.
Mr. Treasurer,
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bills be now read together a second time.
make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, today I introduce the 2026 budget for Parliament's consideration, my 7th annual budget, or 12th budget including supplementaries, that I've had the honour again to present to this House. On the 50th anniversary of our independence, it is important to put the 2026 budget into a broader context of our nation's past and future. We must learn some painful lessons from our past, and with the wisdom from the past, let us ensure our budgets provide the targeted resources that can inspire our future. Security with growth through our 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, first, the high-level facts of the 2026 budget. A budget with 30,913 million in expenditures. A budget revenues that will total 29,306 million kina. Mr. Speaker, these are big numbers, and once again, record budget figures. However, we do need to keep these numbers in perspective. But even these record levels of expenditure are less, much less, than the needs of our people. The 30.9 billion kina in expenditure represents only 2,882 kina per person in PNG, based on an estimated 2026 population of 10.7 million kina. Across our budget, this is actually only 430 kina per person for all our education expenditure, only 268 kina per person for health, only 219 kina per person for all of our police, defense and court systems, and less than 200 kina per person for all of our roads, wharves and airports. Clearly, still just not enough. We cannot fix this shortage of development funds in just 1 year. We need more revenues. We do not want to increase taxes. In 2026, good progress is being made to lift our revenues. We have been working hard, very hard, through better policies such as our new dividends policy endorsed by Cabinet midway through the year, compelling the Kumals to pay more, and through a modernised and simplified new Income Tax Assessment Act. These policies have been supported by increased operational funding support for IRC, which has increased from 102 million kina in 2024 to 144 million kina in 2026. And customs, with a budget increasing from 123 million kina in 2024 to 129 million in 2026. In 2026, our domestic revenues are expected to be 18.8% of GDP. This is higher than our revenue target of 17.9% by 2027 set out in our medium-term revenue strategy. That's good news. We are now exceeding our revenue targets, but still not enough to meet the legitimate needs of our peoples. Securing growth, security with growth through budget repair, some comparisons. Mr. Speaker, the difference between this record level of revenues and this is still inadequate level of budget expenditures is a deficit of 1,607 million kina. We are still spending 150 kina more per person than our revenues. We agree with those opposite who say that this is too much. This is why we are targeting a budget surplus by 2027, so that finally we return to the position where our incomes cover our expenditures. But for those opposite, you should never forget that this 150 kina per person deficit is better, much better than the 520 kina per person deficit we inherited from the other guy. A budget deficit per person 250% higher under the other guy than in the 2026 budget. And this high deficit figure passed on to us in 2019 as confirmed by the due diligence work confirmed by our international partners, including the IMF, to unearth his fake budgets. This high deficit was imposed on our people despite the expected boom of the PNG LNG project coming on stream in 2014. The other guy wasted and misused the expected benefits of this largest resource project in our history. The record is clear. In the 2015 mid-year budget update, the MAIFO, the other guy, and in case anyone's forgotten, the member for Yalabu Pangia, was so economically irresponsible that it was estimated the budget deficit would increase from 4.4% to 9.4% of GDP, or 4,817 million kina, a 2,272 million kina blowout in 2015 due to poor and incompetent economic management. And some of you on the other side want him back. You gotta be joking. In contrast, the 2025 MAIFO indicates no change in the budget deficit. The 2026 budget shows the budget deficit will nearly halve to just 1.1% of GDP, on track for a targeted surplus in 2027. In contrast to the earlier years, through fiscal discipline and, more importantly, political stability, the budget deficit has fallen dramatically from 8.9% of GDP in 2020 down to just 1.1% in 2026. Our debt is now growing much slower than our economy. This means that our debt-to-GDP ratio will drop significantly from 48.4% in 2025 to 45.5% in 2026 and expected to fall to 42% in 2027. All of this budget repair and falling debt ratios is occurring while PNG is benefiting from record rates of non-resource economic growth and inflation well below historic levels. Mr. Speaker, there is no need for a so-called blame game, although he has much to be ashamed about through his appalling economic mismanagement and gammon. Throwing away the benefits of Grand Chief Somari's management for the first 2 years, then 5 years of disastrous economic management that destroyed living standards, lost tens of thousands of jobs, and increased our debt fourfold, funded by expensive overseas commercial borrowings. The Marape-Rosso Government is very willing to do a comparison in performance between the untrustworthy economic experiences from 2013 to 2018 compared to the post-COVID economic experience from 2021 to 2026. Security with growth through support for our police and judiciary. Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget builds on the strong support provided by the 2025 budget to our law and justice sector. Out on the front line, it is our police who face the challenges of tribal conflict, of domestic violence, of breaking the laws of our land. The recent battles at the University of Goroka and violence in and around the Porgera mine are a reminder of the complexity of these problems. The causes are complex, but everyone agrees that part of the solution is that there must be more police in PNG. The 2026 budget provides an overall increase of 9.6% in the law and justice sector, building on the 9.5% increase last year. Steady increases that will need to continue for some years yet. Some highlights of these increases are as follows. Further investments in our police of 761 million kina, including a 34% increase in goods and services funding to cover operational costs such as fuel, and with funding for wages increasing by 19% over the last 2 years as part of supporting a growth to 10,000 police by 2030. Our judiciary receives a further 19% increase in operating costs, lifting the total funding increase since 2024 to a 59% increase in operating costs. Our defense forces receive a 29% increase in their goods and services. Our priority areas, tracking line of police fuel, defense catering, court cases, receives a 42% increase from 112 million to 159 million kina. Our corrective services receive a 10.6% increase in operating funding in 2026. Our Office of Public Prosecutor receives a 60% increase in operating costs over 2 years. Our magisterial services receive a 36% increase over 2 years. Our Ombudsman Commission receives a 15.2% increase over 2 years, and our Independent Commission Against Corruption with a 34.5% increase in funding over the last 2 years to 54.1 million kina. And LLG leaders' allowances supporting a key part of community-level dispute resolution increases by 47% from 49 to 72 million kina. These are strong levels of increased support. In addition, 10 million has been allocated to support activities for dealing with money laundering and counter-terrorism funding. These increases demonstrate the Marape-Rosso Government stands with our police, with our defense forces, with our judges and magistrates and public prosecutors and corruption fighters, all to improve security and peace in our country. And with improved security, we know the prospects for growth are so much stronger. Security with growth through the agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, the Marape-Rosso Government is looking for inclusive growth, growth that lifts income security and benefits everyone around the country. A key part of this is greater investments in our agriculture sector. This includes a 16.6% increase for the Department of Agriculture operating costs, a 34.8% increase for the PNG Oil Palm Industry Corporation, a 14% increase for the National Agriculture Research Institute, a 34.6% increase in operating funds for the National Agriculture Quarantine and Inspection Authority, and over the last 2 years, a 30.7% increase in operational funding to the Cocoa Board. Security with growth through capital investments. Mr. Speaker, Marape-Rosso is the infrastructure government. The 2026 budget has a record public investment program of 7,697 million kina. This is 277% higher than the miserable 2,041 million invested in the PIP in 2018 by the other guy. These are not just figures in a budget book. Month after month, we see images of the dancing and joy that comes when a new road goes into an area where there was no road before. This is development that is transforming lives all across Papua New Guinea. PNG Connect remains our signature program, guiding these investments. Yes, we're responding to concerns about some parts of the program through a comprehensive audit, but the concrete benefits are clear on the ground. The 2026 budget provides over 1.7 billion kina through the Department of Works to support the historic PNG Connect program. Security with growth through human capital investments. Mr. Speaker, just as we support investments in physical capital, we also support investments in human capital through our health and education sectors. The 2026 budget continues our record of strong education investments with an increase in the education sector of 11.3% to 4,935 million kina. This funding includes a 251 million increase or 11% in teachers' salaries, lifting spending to 2,532 million kina in 2026, aimed at preventing further teachers' salary overruns. In addition, there is a 45 million increase in government tuition fee subsidy and project fee support from 860 million to 905 million kina. For TESAS and HELP, there is an increase from 152 million to 157 million kina. In the health sector, there is a 15.8% increase to 3,205 million kina, and this includes an 88 million in increase for our provincial health authorities, including POM General to 1,476 million kina. There is a 27 million kina increase in medical supplies from 240 million to 267 million kina. There are also major increases for vaccines of 73%, of malaria and TB and other key drugs of over 40%. Church and Catholic health services, which provide an estimated half of all health services to our rural people, increases by 22% or 46.3 million kina to 259 million kina. security with growth through support for provinces. Mr. Speaker, once again, our provinces are greatly benefiting from our decentralized funding arrangements. This includes a 44% increase in functional grants over the last 2 years, from 535 million kina to 770 million kina. Provincial funding also includes a 30% increase in GST and bookmakers' tax distributions from 980 million in 2024 to 1,274 million next year. Provinces also benefit greatly from the increased funding to our provincial health authorities and increased funding provided for teachers and the GTFS scheme. Security with economic growth. Mr. Speaker, inclusive economic growth is key to income security, more job security, and more revenues to fund larger budgets. During COVID-19, we protected the budget, protected the economy, and we are now seeing the benefits of such a policy. The economy is expected to exceed 145 billion kina next year. This is 12 billion kina higher than the 133 billion economy in 2025. Our 2026 economy will be over 80% higher than the 79 billion economy in 2018 we inherited. We are well on target for a 200 billion economy by 2030, a 300 billion economy by 2035, and a kina 1 trillion economy by 2048. As significant as these very large increases in nominal GDP are, the real growth figures are in our non-resource economy. Real non-resource growth per capita is the best measure in PNG for tracking movements in living standards. The non-resource sector accounts for 72% of the economy and is the part of the economy which provides livelihoods to most of our people, such as agriculture, manufacturing, finance, transport, retail, and wholesale businesses, hospitality, utilities, and even government. From 2021 to 2026, PNG is forecast to benefit from its longest run of sustained real growth in a non-resource economy of over 4% in its history. Specifically, PNG has had real non-resource growth, so taking out the impacts of inflation, of 4.2% in 2021, 5.9% in 2022, 4.7% in 2023, 4.5% in 2024, 4.6% in 2025, and 4.5% projected next year. This sustained 6 years of non-resource real growth of 4% is now 2 years longer than any other period in PNG's history. All these rates are higher than PNG's population growth rate, now re-estimated by the census of 2.6%, meaning we are finally seeing sustained improvements in living standards, but still a long way to go. Using the updated census population figures, we now expect to climb out of the deep economic hole left by the other guy's economic mismanagement by the end of 2025. And here's an even scarier thought. If the other guy sitting next to him even gets his hands on the bank account PNG would go broke before the year even ended. Don't trust two of them. More specifically, living standards dropped from an average of 8,877 kina per person in 2014 down to just 8,025 by 2019, a fall of 10.6% in real living standards. In 2025, we now expect living standards to rise to 8,949 million kina, finally back above 2014 levels, and in 2026 to rise further to 9,137 kina. They're just the facts. PNG now adopts the international standard in budgeting of not including any new projects in our growth or revenue forecasts until the final investment decision or FID is made, so there is a real upside looking forward with our budget. Despite this very strong growth, PNG's inflation rate has remained well below historical levels in the last 2 years, including a historic low of 0.6% in 2024. And the latest June quarter of 2025 outcome of minus 2.2%. In 2026, we expect the inflation rate to be 4.2%, still well below our historic average of 6% and lower than 5% if we didn't extend the GST relief package. Along with this growth, we are seeing an increase in the formal jobs sector with a 2.6% increase in the year to June 2025. We know that many more jobs are being created in rural areas linked to the strong prices of agricultural commodities such as coffee and cocoa, but we do not have a good way to measure this broader jobs growth. What we do know, however, is that this jobs growth is much, much better than the fall in employment from 300,649 non-public sector jobs in 2013 down to 271,200 in 2018, a loss of nearly 30,000 jobs by the other guy. Not a blame game, just reminding the House the better guy is steering the ship. The security with growth through assisting families with cost of living pressures. Mr. Speaker, the Marape-Rosso Government understands families are still struggling with cost of living pressures. Unlike previous governments, we have been delivering relief to our families. Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget includes a 1,010 million household assistance package. When members opposite ask, where does the money go? The answer is that it goes into initiatives such as this to support our families. The main component of this household support package is the full year costing of the zero rating for 13 essential products. This No More GST campaign has been extended to the end of 2026. The 13 products are rice, flour, tinned fish, tinned meat, chicken, biscuits, noodles, tea, coffee, cooking oils, and health-related products of soap, women's hygiene products, and baby diapers. Let us not forget the opposition opposed these GST cuts. Let's not forget that. They argued against them in their response to the 2025 budget. They simply do not understand the needs of struggling families in our country. This year's household assistance package also continues to provide 175 million kina for school project fee subsidies, which provides savings between 60 and 220 kina per student, depending on the level of schooling they are attending. The permanent increase in the tax-free threshold to 20,000 kina provides savings of up to 63 kina per fortnight for most income earners on 20,000 kina and above per annum. For first home buyers, the stamp duty exemption has in 2026, much less than the estimated growth in revenues of 15.3%. This is the basis for responsible budget repair. The budget deficit falls from 8.9% of GDP back in 2020 down to just 1.1% next year. Some thought that returning to a surplus could not be achieved. Many doubted, but we're now 88% of the way down the fiscal path. Debt to GDP falls from 48.4% to 45.5%. Revenues have exceeded 17.9% of GDP target 1 year earlier. Record levels of sustained non-resource growth continue, finally lifting living standards out of the deep hole this government inherited in 2018. We are supporting struggling families with a 1,010 million relief package. The 2025 budget is yet another demonstration of the Marape-Rosso Government's economic credibility. Mr. Speaker, I commend the 2026 budget to the Parliament. Thank you.
Speaker, I move that the debate be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Excise Tariff 2026 Budget Amendment Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Excise Tariff 2026 Budget Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Excise Tariff Act, Chapter 107.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, the bill proposes an amendment to the Excise Tariff Act 1956 to achieve two things. One, continue to suspend the biannual excise indexation rate for beer products and Tier 1 tobacco products for a further 12 months, which will be effective as of 1st of December 2025 and ends on 30th of November 2026. And secondly, increase the excise duty on diesel by 0.06 toya per litre, starting 1st of January 2026. The current rate is 23 toya per litre of diesel. That's the current excise rate. And by 1st of January 2026, the rate will be increased by 6 toya to 29 toya per litre. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Speaker, I move that the debate be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Income Tax 2026 Budget Amendment Number 1, Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Income Tax 2026 Budget Amendment Number 1, Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Income Tax Act 1959 and for related purposes.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, this bill proposes amendments to the Income Tax Act of 1959 to achieve 8 objectives. 1, include a new definition for certification of completion. Empower the National Executive Council to approve the Infrastructure Tax Credit, ITC scheme projects. 3, extend the definition of Highlands Highway to include from Togaba Junction to Porgera. 4, oblige eligible taxpayers to spend 0.5% of the assessable income from the 3% ITC prescribed rate on autonomous region of Bougainville on projects specified through a regulation approved by the Treasurer. Number 5, establish an infrastructure tax credit board with Department of Treasury as the chairperson. 6, clarifies when infrastructure tax credits can be claimed. 7, institutes a transitional arrangement in the treatment of existing tax credits. 8, terminates the infrastructure tax credit scheme program by 31st of December 2032 unless extended by Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Speaker, I move that the debate be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Income Tax 2026 Budget Amendment Number 2, Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Income Tax 2026 Budget Amendment Number 2, Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Income Tax Act 2025 and for related purposes.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, this bill amends the Income Tax Act 2025 by proposing to 1, insert a new definition of prescribed infrastructure development board. 2, increase the infrastructure tax credit rate to 3%. 3, oblige eligible taxpayers to spend 0.5% of the assessable income from the 3% ITC prescribed rate on autonomous region of Bougainville on projects specified through a regulation approved by the Treasurer. 4, reaffirm PNG LNG gas agreement special tax credit concessions under Exhibit F. 5, treat prescribed infrastructure development expenditures incurred by a PNG LNG project participant from 1st of January 2026 as income tax paid, but any amount that exceeds the participant's tax liability becomes a debt owed rather than a credit or refund. 6, insert a new provision permitting a tax credit for petroleum levy. 7, updates the Tax Administration Act 2017 so that all references, terms, and cross-references match the new Income Tax Act of 2025. 8, correct an unintended error that restores the exemption provided to retirees that served more than 15 years, reinforcing the announcement made in the 2025 budget, and makes some minor corrections. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Move that the debate of the bill be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Goods and Services Tax 2026 Budget Amendment Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Goods and Services Tax 2026 Budget Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Goods and Services Tax Act 2003.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, the bill proposes amendments to achieve two objectives. One, extend the application of the Goods and Services Tax electronic monitoring system beyond companies to include certain taxpayers or classes of taxpayers as may be prescribed by the Goods and Services Regulation. Number two, extend the period for exempt supplies to basic goods from 1st of June 2026 to the 31st of December 2026. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill to the Parliament.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the debate of the bill be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
National Petroleum Authority Amendment Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the National Petroleum Authority Amendment, Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the National Petroleum Authority Act 2025 and for related purposes.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, this bill proposes an amendment to the National Petroleum Authority Act 2025 to achieve three objectives. One, strengthen government oversight, financial control, and transparency over the National Petroleum Authority. Two, create a stable and predictable funding mechanism for the NPA by assigning it a fixed annual allocation of up to 100 million kina from a 0.5% levy applied to petroleum producers, whilst ensuring that any excess revenue goes to the state's consolidated revenue account. And three, tighten control over how the NPA manages surplus funds by requiring that all investments receive explicit National Executive Council approval. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that debate of the bill be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Papua New Guinea Fiscal Responsibility Amendment Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Papua New Guinea Fiscal Responsibility Amendment, Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Papua New Guinea Fiscal Responsibility Act 2006.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, this bill amends the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2006 by proposing to reduce the interim debt ceiling from 55% currently down to 52.5% as part of an ongoing effort to restore debt to pre-COVID levels through our 13-year budget repair plan. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the debate of the bill be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Appropriation General Public Services Expenditure 2025 Amendment Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Appropriation General Public Services Expenditure 2025 Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend Appropriation General Public Services Expenditure 2025 Act 2024.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, this bill makes a targeted amendment to the Appropriation General Public Services Expenditure 2025 Act 2024 to give explicit parliamentary approval for budget support loans in 2025. The legislation ensures parliamentary oversight of all budget support loans that the government will enter into this year. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the debate of the bill be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Internal Revenue Commission Amendment Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Internal Revenue Commission Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Internal Revenue Commission Act 2014 and for related purposes.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, the bill introduces significant amendments to the Internal Revenue Commission Act 2014 aimed at strengthening the governance and operational framework of the Internal Revenue Commission, IRC. It establishes a formal Internal Revenue Commission board responsible for overseeing the Commission's performance, setting strategic directions, approving budgets, and ensuring compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. Key committees such as the Audit and Risk Committee, Governance Committee, and Budget Committee are created. The appointment, tenure, and removal of the Commissioner General is supported by defined qualifications and disciplinary procedures. These reforms are designed to enhance oversight, accountability, and efficiency within the IRC, whilst meeting a key benchmark proposed by the state under the IMF program in Papua New Guinea. By strengthening the Commission's governance structure, the amendments aim to improve transparency, promote greater tax compliance, and support effective revenue mobilization. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that debate of the bill be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Central Banking Amendment Bill 2025.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Central Banking Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Central Banking Act 2000.
Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, this bill amends Central Banking Act 2000 by proposing two things. One, to ensure that the central bank provides Treasury and Finance with data on weekly closing balances of all government accounts and a weekly statement of the operations of those accounts to ensure better cash flow planning. Secondly, to change the calculation of interest on government advances, which must now be calculated only on the net cash position, requiring all government accounts, including trust accounts and the Waigani public account, to be reconciled and offset before interest is charged. This will ensure the government is only charged interest costs when it is creating a financial burden for the central bank. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill.
Shadow Minister for Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the debate of the bill be adjourned and made an order of the day for a subsequent sitting.
The question is that the debate be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk. Notices.
The Minister for Justice and Attorney General gives notice that he shall present a bill for an Act A to provide for the composition of the Court of Appeal, and B to distinguish the appellate functions of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, and C to establish administrative processes for the jurisdictions of the Court of the Appeal and for related purposes. The Minister for Justice and Attorney General gives notice that he shall present a bill for an Act A to establish the appeal procedure in relation to criminal matters of the Court of Appeal, B to repeal provisions relating to criminal matters under Division 3 of Part Roman 3 of the Supreme Court Act, Chapter 37, additional provisions relating to appeals in criminal cases and for related purposes. The Minister for Justice and Attorney General gives notice that he shall present a bill for an act to amend the Supreme Court Act, Chapter 37, to enhance the Supreme Court's powers, functions, and responsibilities into the three-tier court system and for related purposes. The Minister for Justice and Attorney General gives notice that he shall present a bill for an Act A to implement Subdivision 6.5D, National Court of Justice of the Constitution, and B to provide for the incorporation of the National Court into the three-tier court system consisting of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the National Court, and C to establish practice and procedures of the National Court, and D to repeal and replace the National Court Act, Chapter 38, and for related purposes. The Minister for Justice and Attorney General gives notice that he shall present a bill for an act to amend the Interpretation Act, Chapter 2. Second.
Speaker, I move that the Parliament do now adjourn until tomorrow 10 a.m.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, Parliament now is adjourned to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.